Hello and welcome to Parallel Productions. Yes, it's weird me saying that because I've been so used to introducing this channel for nearly a year and a half now. Well, for quite a long time, as a completely different name, but no, rebrand! Woo! And it's the Parallel Productions thing, because yes, Orson has rejoined the exciting team of excitingness, and there may even be somebody else who joins the exciting team of excitingness, excitedly. Yes, which means Parallel Productions is now a thing, and this is my first piece of voiceover gamed content. You may know my voice from other productions, such as D-Stock Departs Upminster Bridge, shakily, and probably some other films, because I don't know when just to shut up. Anyway, yes, you can already tell that. Today, I will be driving the bisexual Class 158 with the pink 153 stuck to the back, making it the gayest and campest train on the railway. Now, I'm allowed to say that. Anyway, yes. I don't know if you remember, but around December time, the 158957 and 158954 both had inspections going on, some kind of deep level inspection-y stuff. I'm not entirely sure. But that took out two cars of the 3 coach units, both of them, so there were 2 extra coaches just sitting about that could be used. So the brilliant people at GWR decided, let's stick them together and have an extra train, so that effectively they were only 1 unit down, even though the unit that they sent out was 1 car short, but they were effectively only 1 unit down, which they could cope with. And because 158957 had been repainted into the GWR green livery, and 158954 was still in first Great Western livery, there was a hilarious... it looks so funny. I'll link you to some pictures. And then in the description, if I bother to remember. And there was also a good spot by one of my good rail enthusiast friends, and also general friend Anthony, who when in Bristol saw it coupled up to the Citizens Rail 153, which was pink, and so you had Great Western Railways. It was the gayest campus thing on the rails. It was absolutely fabulous, and I will be driving it on the 2R98 1553 Bristol Parkway to Bath Spa service. That sounds really boring. It's not, and I will tell you why. It's because it is a parliamentary train. And this parliamentary train runs once a day, one direction only, and it uses the avoiding line, the Temple Meads avoiding line. I'm not quite sure what its official name. It's the bit between Dr. Day's Junction and Narroways Hill Junction. So it uses that little spur. So instead of reversing at Temple Meads like every single other train does, it just goes straight past, which is brilliant. And I was really excited to find that it was usually operated by 158. And here we are. Please couple the 153 and 158 units together, then swap into the front 158 cap. I've not noticed that typo before, and this scenario has been released. It's set up. Boo! Even I can make typos. Right, so... I'm not going to do anything else. I'm going to put on some lights. Marker lights only for now. Right, that looks coupled. Going to go into full service. Turn off my lights. Go into the coupling menu. Yep, that's all coupled nicely. Right, open doors. And then control equals to bring me into the front cab. And off you fuck. Ah, that's such a good train. Ah, I love it to bits. It's so mismatched, so colourful and exciting. Ah, yes, anyway, I am still me, as you can tell. Okay, so that's good on the front, and good on the back, even though for whatever reason the person who did this reskin decided to, instead of doing the logical thing, which is to skin the First Great Western 153, they skinned the Greater Anglia 153, and so I'm left with a list of destinations that don't correspond to Great Western Railway. Otherwise we would have been driving the 153, but I don't have Armstrong Powerhouse sound packs installed, because I don't. And yes, it's all fun. Just waiting for the off from Bristol Parkway. Right. Oh, not in forward. Off we go. Where's my... Ah, there's the growl, and off we go. Yes! So... Train sim news, let's go for that. Well, no. Essentially, there isn't much. Currently what's happening is Dovetail Games are continuing to release stuff, release DLC and so on. The DLC for trains is predictable. The physics are questionable, the sounds are pretty shoddy, the modelling's okay, and yeah. In terms of routes, it's the same criticism. The routes are too short, but they actually look okay. And they don't come with enough rolling stock. Except the South Wales Coastal, which did come with a good amount of rolling stock, but I've already had a bleat about South Wales Coastal, and you're bored of hearing about it. Yes. So, in terms of Train Sim World, there was a release date for a thing, and I don't really follow this that well, so I'm not sure what the thing is about. But there was a release date for a thing, and unfortunately, the release date was put back, which I actually think's good, because I really like... I mean, I don't think, especially for this sort of thing, when one is focusing on realism, I don't think one should have deadlines. When I do scenarios, I don't say, oh look, I'm doing a scenario, this scenario will be out on Friday, because then I'm under pressure and I may release something that's half-assed and has serious need for improvement. Now, of course, one can see that with a lot of previous Dovetail Games things. The livery's a bit crap, the physics are awful, everything's copied and pasted from something else. I mean, one could see that's a thing that Dovetail Games does, and so when they've pushed something back, I think it's good, and so I'm not going to hold that up against them. Armstrong Powerhouse don't do deadlines either that much. They don't really do deadlines at all, which is good. I like the fact that they don't do deadlines. I enjoy it, and in general, I think it's good. Although what Armstrong Powerhouse makes up for in realism and authenticity, it loses slightly for the price, and I left it way too late to break. I have left it way too late to break. Oh, no. Well done, Felix. Going really well. Rebrand of the channel, and the first thing you do is overrun the sodding station. Oh, well. Here we go. And some stuff. First Great Western, the normal Great Western 153 livery, and then the plain one. Ooh, plain! Yeah, it's fun. I do like the 153, it's quite a fun little thing. It's really fun. But yes, Armstrong Powerhouse have recently released quite a lot of things that are, in my opinion, slightly overpriced. They've been redoing their HST packs. They've so far released Valenza and MTU, both of which have cost a tenner, which is nearly as much as the European Loco and Asset pack. Yeah, so that's an awful lot of money to be spending on enhancements for an HST, especially if one has bought the previous sound packs for those things. Secondly, the 175 enhancement pack, which was released for £8, is quite a lot. Usually they only release stuff for £5. So yes, things from Armstrong Powerhouse are getting a lot more expensive, and getting to the point where even hardened Armstrong Powerhouse super fans are going, bit much, mate. There ends my Armstrong Powerhouse rant, because there's not much point in bleating about it too much. Something weird's going on over there. That square of texturing, does that exist? When I do that? When it's next stopped... Oh! Yes, something to point out with Super Alps reskin. It's got some nice public information display stuff.
Great Western Railway welcomes you aboard this service to Bath Spa. Please do not attempt to pause or alight from the train while the doors are closing.
Yes, that's my special announcement voice. What's this beastie doing? 959 to Cardiff Central. Yeah, I mean, the other thing, I would just like to point out that they released a route from, just to compare what Dovetail Games' laziness. They recently released a route from, let me get this right, Garmisch-Partenkirchen, which you may or may not remember, from Munich to Garmisch-Partenkirchen. Yes, I am fucking up German pronunciations, but they released one Garmisch-Partenkirchen to Innsbruck. Yes, very exciting. Except, no, the total route kilometerage, which is a word I've just made up, the total route length is 58 kilometres, which compares to Munich to Garmisch-Partenkirchen's length of 100 kilometres, which means there's an extra 40% of a route out there. I mean, it's quite a lot to miss off. It shows that Dovetail are producing shorter and shorter routes. I mean, Bristol to Swansea is a good length, but originally Bristol to Cardiff, which was a pants length. It was a tiny little tidbit off the Western Main Lines, which I'm driving on now. It's real. Oh, hello, freeze. Yep, I love it when it freezes. It does that occasionally on my Western Main Lines. It just freezes for absolutely no reason. Thanks very much. Just trains. In general, that's the only problem with the, well, there are many problems with the Western Main Line's track directionality, scenery, accuracy, use of default Kuju assets. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But it's so flippin' long. So flippin' long. It's ridiculous. Oh, hello, red coming up. Apparently not going to change. Ah, here we go. Control tab. Request a pass signal at danger approved. Ah, look! That little thing's appeared. Hello, you. It's a Voyager. There's really not much point getting up that much speed on this, because if I'm honest, 25 dropping to 10, I'll keep it on notch 2, but you know. Luckily I don't have to worry too much, because my ETA into Keynsham is 3 minutes early still, and now I've got to start braking for 10 miles an hour. It's the only problem with these parliamentaries, they're flippin' slow, usually. And now I just crawl. This is going to be a nightmare. It's not going to be a nightmare though. And here we go. This is the parliamentary bit of the train. Let's have a look at it from the passenger view. Anyway, yes, I know, I'm being weird, but yeah, I've got off on a whole new tangent, and I'm now going to have to come back to the original point, which is, Dovetail, make your routes a bit longer, please! And then, Just Trains, make your routes more stable and more detailed, please! Because even though, I mean, if one compares Bristol to Cardiff, on Dovetail's South Wales Coastal, and then Bristol to Cardiff on Just Trains Western Main Lines, there's quite a lot of difference. There's quite a lot of difference. I mean, the Bristol Parkway model in just all of them. The only thing I would give Just Trains a pro on is the way they've numbered stuff at Temple Meads, because they've separated out the platforms. Because as you may or may not know, one platform length at Bristol Temple Meads sometimes equates to 2 different platforms. But so Just Trains have done platform 7, tiny little split, platform 6. No, platform 8 it is. It's 7 and 8 are paired. Anyway, platform 7, tiny little split, platform 8. Good, that's how one does it. Just Dovetail Games have just called it platforms 7 and 8. No, not so much. Not so good. Don't like that so much, but that's it's inconsequential when looking at the bigger picture. And off we go, revving. I do like the way that the first Great Western and the Citizens Rail livery are photographic negatives of each other. It's quite good. And yes, I did hiccup at the end. I did a silent hiccup, which is why the word other was cut quite short. But yes. My ETA is going up. And because I've got a 153 on the back, my maximum speed is 75. So this is going to be fun, guys. It's going to mean I have to concentrate quite hard, because if I do go over 75, that's not going to be good for the 153 up back. Even though I'm sure 153s can go faster. 150s have gone up to 80, I'm sure. 80, 85. I'm sure in tests 150s have got up into at least the 80s. But this tests don't matter, it's what its design speed is. Ah, yes. Done a great job at blurring that out. You prick. I'm going to open the window, because why not? If I can work out how to open the window. Was that a train? No, it wasn't. Not sure what that little bit of texturing. It's gone slightly wrong in that department. I'll have to look at it when we get to Keynsham. Yeah, this is a 158 going on 150, 153 time, so it's going to be a little bit early. Certainly doing the longer hops, which is fine. I quite like it. Looks fun. Really do like it. Making quite slick progress. I mean, we are going to be certainly a minute only at Keynsham. Whatever. I don't do pronunciations. I used to think Wolverhampton was pronounced Wolverhampton, but that was only because I saw it on the front of a pacer at Warrington or Wigan, so I didn't exactly have the best line of sight. I'm just going to let it coast now. Obviously not all the way into Keynsham, because it's not going to lose that much speed. Put it into notch 1, see what happens. Notch 2. Actually, the frame rate is staying quite stable, if low, for the Western Main Lines. And the... well, that's weird. Oh shit. Completely screwed that one up as well. And Great Western HST. Ooh, I love... ooh, go away.
Whee!
Ah, they're so fun and... it's Meningitis Trust. Oh, good. We managed to stop just in time for some reason. Oh, I should concentrate so much more. Ugh. It's the second harsh stop in a row I've given these guys. And ladies. Gayettes. There we go, yeah. Guys and gayettes. It's so fun. This one's just... These people look so depressed. To be honest, I'd look depressed if my face was like that. Yeah, I mean, don't know what's happened to him, but he's had some serious facial reconstruction surgery gone wrong. Devon and Cornwall Rail Partnership. And now we just wait here for another minute and a half. That looks quite fun, I quite like that. Right, so... And off we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard your 1612 Great Western Railway service to Bath Spa, calling at Oldfield Park and Bath Spa. Sounds fun. Yeah, so, outside of Trade Sim, what's been going on? Well, there was the excitement of Donald Trump's inauguration, which, yes, he said... And then the followings after that, which I don't think I'm going to go into. It's all been getting more and more... It's all been getting more and more controversial and more slipping into the illiberal democracies of Russia, Hungary and the like. And cries of fake news, which doesn't mean that the news is false now. Means it just seems to be a term for news that you don't really like, and so without checking its provenance, you just say, fake news, it's fake news. Well, fuck off. Great, so essentially everything that's against Trump, the Trump team decides to go, well, that's fake news, so go away. You're not. And by the way, that hand gesture that he does, where he puts his two fingers together and moves it down and up and down, we will build a wall, and his hands move up and down. I mean, in that where the thumb and first finger are together in a kind of circle, it moves it down to represent the shape of his mouth. Those stupid expressions. There are no flattering pictures of Donald Trump. There really aren't. But anyway, so whenever he's got his thumb and first finger together in a circle, moving it up and down, we will build a wall. It will be a great wall. It will be a beautiful wall. It's going to be so great, so great. When he's doing that, my only thought is somebody needs to Photoshop a dildo there. That would really piss off some of the more conservative members of his team, like Mike Pence, who I can't help but think that he's in the wrong country and currency, and Jeff Sessions, who sounds like a jazz musician. Yeah. Anyway, that's my satirical take on politics. But no, his acceptance speech after he was inaugurated was quite fun, in the sense that there was so much to take the piss off. I mean, basically what he says is brilliant. And it kind of reminds... It shows that this would all be so much better if it was a sitcom. But unfortunately it's not. So, yeah. Sounds fun. It's not a sitcom, and that's the only bad thing. If it was a sitcom, it would be utterly brilliant, and it would be the best sitcom ever. But unfortunately, it's not. It's real life, and so it's not funny. Although one does have to laugh, because the only other response to that is death. And you know, that's not the best response. But no, we're approaching the... So here we go. His Donald Trump speech started with, this day will be remembered as the day that the people became those who controlled government. Because, you know, I mean, basically every political speech starts with that. I mean, everybody goes, the people now control government. It's amazing, it's fabulous. But they do it in their own way. Some are more statesman-like, some are more prick-like. You can insert your own jokes about American presidents there. Oh, David Cameron and a pig. He's had some quite odd moments where he was saying, we give so much money to education, but like it doesn't improve anyone. It leaves our young and beautiful students deprived of all knowledge, which he was demonstrating right there, you know, people being deprived of knowledge. He was bleating about how bad the Obama administration, finishing with, but now we look only to the future, which for most people is probably the most terrifying prospect ever. Yes. The time for empty talk is over, he says, but continues to talk. It's just full of so much rubbish, to be frank. One of the best lines was, "We stand at the birth of a new millennium," which makes him 17 years too late. Because I don't know, but I noticed that the millennium started when I was 8 months old. Yeah, I can do maths. 8 months old. In the year 2000, when, you know, the millennium started, not 2000. It would be a bit odd if your calendar was based on the fact that new millennium started at 2017, or 1017, or 4070, just randomly had a 17 there. That's when, yeah, Christ was born in the year 17. Doesn't really work, does it? No. Anyway. Oh, gosh. He did attempt to speak some words of unity. He said that whether we are black or brown or white, we all bleed the same red blood. Yeah, we're going to find out that we do in a few months' time when he, you know, really gets a grip. He also had an exciting quote when he was talking about nuclear codes, and I'm not making this up. This is what he said verbatim. He said, I'm stopping right at Oldfield Park, aren't I? Yep. This is what he said verbatim. I'm not making any of this up. "You know what uranium is, right? It's this thing called nuclear weapons and other things. Like, lots of things are done them, including some bad things. Nobody talks about that." That's what he said, word for word. "You know what uranium is, right? It's this thing called nuclear weapons and other things. Like, lots of things are done about them, including some bad things. Nobody talks about that." It's just, when you've got that person who can't even construct a sentence properly, in charge of America, which is the most powerful country on the planet, one starts to worry. And there are all sorts of things surrounding his business. I mean, he accepts the united one China policy. A few days later, his business, which has been trying for decades to get rights to build things under his name in China, gets the go-ahead. Oh my goodness, coincidence? No, there's not a coincidence, because Trump is doing this purely for his own personal gain and nothing to do with benefiting the American people. It's a flippin' fallacy, and I mean, everyone's going, "He's up to the establishment." Well, yeah, but, you know, a billionaire son of a billionaire who makes his money from property and some maybe slightly dodgy dealings is probably much more a member of the establishment than a lot of people think. I mean, to use the ultimate insult, he's looking to be about as dodgy as the Clintons. Now that is a smack up the arse Trump supporters won't like, but it's an appropriate one. Moving on from the depression of Trump to literally everything. Yes, this train is continuing to be exciting. You see what I mean about it being the gayest train on the rails, right? Now, that may not be politically correct, but I don't care. I don't do political correctness, as you may or may not have noticed through my excitingly dark humour. And what that means is I can joke about pretty much anything. Yeah, I have published a joke which has, people didn't really like it because it made a joke about terrorism, which surely one should, you know, with terrorist attacks, one should just take the piss, because that's a normal, you know, a thing to do. I mean, if one goes, "Oh no, you can't do that," no. Shutting down free speech is not a good idea. Let's continue with that, and, you know, obviously in the right circumstance, one doesn't in the middle of a reception, or when one's meeting the Queen, or when speaking to the mourning families of the victims of terrorist attacks, one doesn't go, "Hey, I've got a great joke about 9/11. No, that's not what one does. One does it in the appropriate circumstance of, you know, with friends, on a comedy show. That sort of thing. Which is why Milo Yiannopoulos is hilarious, because if one doesn't take what he says seriously, then he's actually quite funny. Which everyone should start doing, by the way. Don't take a lot of these right-wing, alt-right tits seriously. Just go, haha, you're hilarious, great joke, mate. And then eventually they'll start screaming and become one of those triggered SJWs, or whatever the right-wing equivalent is. Which would be absolutely hilarious, and one of the most brilliant pieces of hypocrisy of all time. Yes, that word escaped me for a while. Hypocrisy! Woo! Yes, right, so at this point, all my passengers evacuate the train, and then I go on to Bathampton Junction, where I stop off, which is fun. Another piece of hypocrisy I will point out is Brexit. Yes, surprisingly I'm pro-Brexit, although I don't get why people are getting in such tears about the Supreme Court ruling. Because generally the stance of right-wing is, well, liberals just want to shut everything down, even if it's within the law. They just want to shut everything down that's not to do with them, and that's not to do with them and doesn't agree with them, which is great. And then when the Supreme Court goes, actually, we have an unwritten constitution, so our interpretations as judges are that the royal prerogative can't be used to bypass Parliament. So therefore, one has to go through Parliament, and they're going, oh my goodness, but it's the will of the people! Oh my goodness! Well, yes, it's great, but unfortunately one can't just change the rules. One has to go through democratic processes to change the rules, darlings. And part of those democratic processes means 5R98 to Bathampton Junction. And part of those democratic rules means is that currently referendums aren't legally binding, they're advisory. Now, of course, it would be political suicide for anybody to ignore, which is why the Liberal Democrats are doing so well, and the Labour Party is doing so well. Yes, of course, the margin was quite narrow, so 58-42. No, 52-48. And even closer, 51.7, 49.3. No, 48.3. Yeah. But anyway, this is what happens, and yeah, it's quite funny the way they're going, oh, but laws must be upheld, you know, blah 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 blah, and then when laws are upheld, they're going, but it's the will of the people. Well, sometimes the people aren't always right. And I'm not saying that Brexit shouldn't happen because I am a Brexiteer, but what I'm saying is it needs to be done through, you know, legal means. Because currently Theresa May's version of Brexit is scary. Although I find it quite hilarious that one of the most pro-Brexit areas of the UK, the Liberal, Stoke-on-Trent by-election, you know, the Liberal Democrats are trying to fight it on Brexit and going, we don't want a hard Brexit. Mate, that alienates about 70% of that constituency. There you go. It's hilarious. Anyway, this is a political minefield that I've just opened up, and I can't wait to see all the dislikes on this video. Thank you very much. As we approach Bathampton Junction passing loop, I would like to say some words. And also a thank you for watching. I've been driving this brilliant train. It's incredibly sexy, rather marvellous, and I'm sorry I didn't get to see it in the flesh. The consist is fabulous, I love it to bits, and yes, it's all going rather marvellously, and I'm approaching Bathampton where I will stable. Yeah, because I'm a horse now. Actually, you know, this colour scheme would look... Yes, it was at that point my game decided to crash. So I've decided I'm not going to continue. Because we were half a mile away from Bathampton. And while it would be lovely to continue all the way, I don't want to run the whole scenario again because I did have to play it quite a few times in order to sort out some misbehaving AI, which was, you know, vaguely tedious. So I don't wish to drive it again. So I will wrap up the video in a lovely gift package and send it to my friend. So, yes, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the if you like the rebrand to Parallel Productions, then great, I'm glad we did as well, which is why we did it. Woo! Logic. If you've liked the video, then that's also marvellous. If you've disliked the video, then lol. Great. Yes. There are buttons below that you can click on if you want to. There's a subscribe button if you want to subscribe, although you don't have to, because, you know... Actually, yes, you have to subscribe! And yes, I will be having another one-sided conversation with you in another video. Orson will probably be doing the same thing at some point. There will also be various random clips of trains doing things, like going along tracks at speed, or departing from stations, accelerating, or arriving at stations, decelerating. That's essentially what the content will be. Games, trains, mostly train games, although some non-train games, like OMSI, which is exciting. So, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you again at some point. Goodbye.